Hello, this is Aaron again. I hope this time around the sound is a bit better. So I've reset the video, reset everything. So the sound should be better right now. I just want to wait for people to give me a thumb up if the sound is better. So please let me know if the sound is better. Amayo, Osawon, Queen, Yomi, Iye, and Paul, and okay, sound is perfect. Glad to hear that. So let's move on. So basically, what I like to talk about today is just random thoughts, very important random thoughts. First, today I created some posts. I won't say they are powerful posts, but these are just random thoughts from me. And for example, I had a post on entropy. And I think that most of our people don't understand what entropy is yet. And that is why our people believe in God, but they don't understand how the law of entropy works. Okay, so the law of entropy is a basic law that states that everything deteriorates into disorder. Everything that is in order, we deteriorate into disorder. So the very day we are created, we are born, we start to disintegrate basically. We grow up, and then from growing up, we start to get older, and we disintegrate, and then we die. This is a law of nature. I cannot help it. So when you create something, it doesn't matter what it is, a house, a car, a business, anything that is created under the sun, not even under the sun, inside the universe, we disintegrate in time. Okay? So therefore, for us to avoid disintegration, we need to actively work on something. So I gave a funny example about my marriage. I have to, I'm married for 27 years, and I have to actively work on my marriage every day. Otherwise, it won't be the marriage that I want to have. I can be married for 27 years. A lot of people are married for 27 years, 30, 40 years. But the marriage is not necessarily the type of marriage they would like to have or they dreamt of. Because sometimes people who are involved in the marriage do not work on it well enough to be able to make the marriage the way they intend it to be. So one of the rules in my marriage is that we are always together. If I have to travel somewhere, because I'm the one that does the traveling, because I'm the businessman, I'm the guy, that is going everywhere in the world. So the thing is just that if I need to pack my things and go to a business trip that lasts more than a certain days, my wife comes along. It's just I often say she's like a snail. Where the share goes, where the snail goes, the share goes along. So because when we are not together, then and you are too far away from each other for a very long period of time, entropy set into the marriage. That's just how it works. So I don't take it as a habit to just travel and go and stay somewhere and do business there or do something else and say, okay, I'm doing business, come back 3 months later or come back 6 months later. That doesn't work. So that means that everything you want it to work, everything that you do and you want to make success out of it, you got to work on it daily. Because if you don't do that, the entropy will set in and will destroy it. Okay? The same thing we do with our brain. If you don't use your brain actively every day, then entropy will set into it. Entropy will destroy it. There are people who went to school 10 years ago, went to university, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. They had a lot of things. They learned a lot of stuff in the university. And after they finished the university, they just drop everything. Because, if you went to university, if you started going to school since you were 6 years old, so you're gone. And then suddenly you are 30 years old, you are done. So you spend about 24 years in school. So you just like feel like going to the shower and wash the whole school thing off. So me, I'm tired of school now. I'm done. So you get a job, then entropy sets in. Just the law of nature. Entropy sets in, and your brain starts going backward. You will often notice that, if you have, like I was living in the Netherlands with my wife for a very long time actually. I didn't speak English. I was speaking Dutch. I was writing Dutch. I was doing everything in Dutch. I ran my business in Dutch and everything. While my Dutch language got a lot better, and I was good at it, my English language started deteriorating. That is what we call entropy, because entropy was setting in. I was not using my English language like I was supposed to be using it. So then when we finally moved to an English country again, so you started using the English language. And even today, my Dutch language is deteriorating. My wife's Dutch language is deteriorating, because we don't speak the language, at home, and we don't speak it with, at work. We don't do business with it. We don't talk with people in it. So that is entropy sets in. So entropy has a way of destroying everything you don't maintain. So if you look at our culture, it seems that our people don't know this, because I often find it funny that when you talk with Nigerians, everybody will tell you, oh, Nigeria has a bad, maintenance culture. People always talk about a bad maintenance culture. But people don't change it. And then say, look, if you realize that we have a bad maintenance culture, so why not change the culture? It's a simple thing. Just change it. Flip it around. People don't do that. So if you have, people will build a house, very beautiful house, very, very beautiful house. You know how people can build house now. Somebody will come, bring a lot of money, build this beautiful mansion. And then this mansion will be left there, and it will just start breaking down. I see a lot of these houses in Nigeria. You go to Abuja, you will see them. You go to the GROAs, that's where you see them in Nigeria, in government reserve areas. And then you will see this beautiful house that used to be beautiful house, but now it's just big, ugly house. And it's just deteriorating. And you start wondering, why? Why do these people allow entropy to set in and just eat up the whole thing, So somebody would tell you a story, how the owner of the house died and how this happened, how that happened. But I don't want to mention name. In Benin City, there are some very prominent people I know who are still alive, and they have houses in Benin City. And these houses, if you drive, big houses, but it's completely messed up. They are completely messed up, and then they have allowed entropy to set in. And if you look at the people still live there. These so-called big men, they still live in those houses. Then I said, look, don't they see the condition of these houses? Don't they see it? I remember that, a few years, 2 years ago, I was in the Buckingham Palace. They didn't invite me, so it was not so like the Queen of England invited me to Buckingham Palace. I was just a tourist. I went there to Buckingham Palace. So as I came to Buckingham Palace, and the beauty is just mind-boggling. Okay, you have, I don't even know the name that they call that long road. Those guys who live in London can tell. That long road when you're going to the Buckingham Palace, you have trees on both sides, you have electric poles in the middle, and you have, if they're doing a ceremony, then we have all these, horses coming and going to the Buckingham Palace and coming. And then when you come to the Buckingham Palace, you see that big roundabout in front of it, well taken care of, and then from there you can have a majestic view of the Buckingham Palace itself. And then you just ask, so how old is Buckingham Palace? How old is that whole place? This is the heart of London. Some of these things have been in London for more than 1,000 years. Really. If you look at the Big Ben, there's, the Westminster. Westminster is like 1,300 years old. There are actually houses in England that are 1,300 years old. And if you 1,500 years old, if they don't tell you how old these things is, you won't know. So I think the reason why entropy doesn't set in is because people are working on them. Like the Big Ben, which is a symbol of the United Kingdom of England, let's put it that way. They shut it down for 4 years, just to be able to fix it, oil it, remove the parts, do everything. Before shutting it down, it was still working. So they don't wait until it breaks down first. Say, what happened? Say, the thing don't stop. When it stopped? Say, 20 years ago. No, they will stop it, and they will say, okay, we are going to renovate the whole thing, and they will go and renovate it. They will put it in order. The smallest thing there will be redefined. They will put some new parts, modern parts, and everything will be working fine again. See, why is it that these people do that and we don't? We just allow things to deteriorate. And it is not only the government that does this, but I have seen families, friends, acquaintances, people, neighbors, and I see they have beautiful houses, they have beautiful cars, they have this and that. And everything will just deteriorate. You just let entropy set in and destroy it completely. A few years ago, I was in the family house, and I still remember when I was, I went to the family house, and then when I came there, I met somebody had this welding machine in the living room to weld stuff. Had the welding machine in the living room. And then I saw that they have cables. The welding machine have a cable, naked cable, and just tie it up together. One cable, and the other one carry and come, tie the other one together, and they will separate it, put it there, and a meter further, tie another one together, and put it there. And the cables were naked. This is this big, thick welding cable. They are naked, and they are carrying 220 volts. And then at the end of it, you guys know that this is, you have a plug like this. If you are in Europe or America, you have plug, you use it to plug something in. But in Nigeria, you don't normally have that. There will be a naked cable like this, and then somebody will put it there, use it to open it, and then tie it up again, take the other side, use it open them, do one like this, and then you now have two of these cables, and then you try to aim it at the wall. Put your inside. If it doesn't want to go inside, you use pen, because you know if you use knife, it will shock you. You use something plastic, use it to push it in. You push it in. So start the generator. Start the generator is working. Okay. That alone, you will never see a white guy do things like that. Honestly, you will never see a white guy do something like that. So that simple thing, I have tried to change for the past 5 years in my farm. I can't get it changed. Because people will think that they don't have money, that is why. No, it's not because the black man don't have money. It's not because the Nigerian don't have money. Because in my farm, we have plugs, a lot of it. Okay? We have rolls of cable, a lot of it. We have everything you need. I have a toolbox that costs over 1,000 euros. Everything you think of is in that toolbox you can use. Okay? Everything you think of is in that toolbox to use. So there is no reason why anybody would pick up a cable and use his teeth to open it, to strip off the plastic. There's no reason at all for that because there's tools for it. I made sure there is tools for it and the tools are there. So I asked this guy, I said, look, because I was angry at him. I said, why do you do that? He said, because it's going to take him time to run to the warehouse where the toolbox is, because it's a massive toolbox. Get the right tool to be able to strip the cable. So he just said, let me use my teeth. So I don't understand why our people do that. So you will have a white dude. A white dude will think, oh, the black man doesn't have the money. That is why he's doing that. He doesn't have the right tools. Or he doesn't have this, doesn't have this. Why people always want to help? Give them something for them to help them. No. Once you give them, they will put all this thing aside and the guy will still pick up the cable. Yeah. So those are some of the things that bothers me. Those things really bothers me. I don't get it. So if any of you have an answer for me, please let me know because it really bothers me. Okay? It really bothers me. So I'll give you another example. I said to guys, so look, they want to mold block. They want to mold the blocks to build a house. And me, I'm saying, look, these blocks you guys are molding, they are falling apart. I come around in Nigeria and I see people have a block, they build a house halfway, and the rain starts falling on it for months, and then the block will start wearing off. So if you leave the house for like a year, the house that was 2 meters high already, it comes to like 1.5 meters because the rain has washed off all those blocks. And I said, look, dude, where I live, there is a farm next to me. This guy is a farm. They fence it around 1.5 meter high with blocks. And these blocks, they are made with, granite, with cement, with everything. And this block, I've been living in the same place for 5 years. But before I came, that farm has been there for more than 20 years. And this fence has been there as long as that farm is there. And there is no single part of it that is washed off by rain. So I asked the guy, I said, how did you guys do this? Oh, so he told me how they mix the cement and everything. I said, okay, look, when I go to Nigeria, we're going to do the same. So now I come to Nigeria and I said, look, guys, I want you guys to mold blocks for me to build a fish pond. They say, okay, no problem. We're going to he said, this is how we make it, sir. It's two bags of cement to one wheelbarrow. Okay, 2 bags of cement to 1 wheelbarrow. I said, okay. But I want to have 4 bags of cement to 1 wheelbarrow. I say, why? I said, because I want the block to be very strong. Because if it's very strong, I can use that pond for maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years. But if it's not strong, they wash away in a year. Then I have to build another one. Okay, so they look at me like I'm crazy. So okay, now down. Then I went even more crazy. I said, okay, so you're going to use 4 bags. Do 4 bags per 1 wheelbarrow, Because it's going to cost maybe 50,000 naira more. But then I have it done properly. But then I want you to go and get a tipper load of granite, big granite tipper, and then you will mix 4 bags of cement, you will mix 1 wheelbarrow of sand, and you will mix another wheelbarrow you will then put a wheelbarrow of, granite. I want it very strong. I want to use more granite instead of sand. Ghana, wow, this one are crazy things, so not be so with the dwan for here. So these guys, they don't want to learn. So they have this idea. I don't know why the idea came that to mold block, you need 2 bags of cement or 1 bag of cement. It was even probably one bag of cement to to so many wheelbarrows. And I don't get it. Who came up with these ideas? Who is the engineer that came up with this idea? And it doesn't work. Because we jack a car up at a certain moment. And then we put one of the block under the car to hold it. Once we let the jack go, they just collapsed and the block just perforated. It was not a block. So, and that is why in Nigeria, you won't believe it, I don't go into houses that are more than 3 stories high. Just because for me, I think that house is a dangerous house. It's going to collapse. So me, I think once I'm inside, the house is going to collapse. Unless it's a bank, one of these big establishments that have those houses, there are some houses you see them in Nigeria, only looking at them, do you think this house is not, how long is this house going to stand? Okay, so those type of things bothers me. And I think, why is it that people just don't get it? That look, you don't have to do things in a certain way. There's always a better way. So when somebody comes up with a better way, you got to listen to that person and say, look, man, let's see what this new way, if it's going to work better. So there is no progress. If you go to Nigeria now, you want to mow block, you say, one wheelbarrow, they will quote it for you. They'll say 1 bag of cement or 2 wheelbarrow or 3 wheelbarrow or whatever they call it. And that bag of cement, by the time they mix that cement with that wheelbarrow, you won't even see the cement anymore. So then I asked them, I said, look, is it not that Dangote cement bag? They say, yes. But that thing is 25 kilograms. It's not even 50 kilograms. I say, yeah, we know. So you want to use that to mold the block with your mixture. Say, look, that house is going to collapse. Oh. Say, no, they collapse. God forbid. So, but God give you a brain to work it out. Because in Europe, the engineers in America, they will calculate it. They will calculate it. There are laws for these things. They calculate it for you to tell you how strong the blocks must be. I remember, so we're talking about it. One day I was so excited. I was talking. I was telling my wife, you know what? You look at the houses they are building in Dubai. The nation has to have a majestic building. Look at Dubai. Look at in Malaysia. Look at in India. Look at all these big buildings they are having everywhere. Nigeria is supposed to build one like that. So Nigerians still cannot do this type of thing. So I was angry. So my wife just stayed calm like that and looked at me and said, you have to be very thankful that Nigerians are not building skyscrapers. Because if they were building skyscrapers, there would be a lot of people dying when those skyscrapers collapse. So my wife has a way of bringing me down to earth. Then I thought about it. I said, someone has a point. We can afford people to be building houses with fake, things, fake blocks, fake rods, fake bars, fake everything. So if everything is done fake, then entropy sets into things very fast. So the reason why we don't succeed, we are not making progress, is because we allow entropy to set into things much faster than necessary. You see, whereas what I've discovered is that in the Western world, they understand the law of entropy very well, that they are always striving to improve everything to do. I still remember when I first traveled out of Nigeria, we used to have all these cars in Europe and America, the rusted cars. So in the 70s, cars were not as well, the carrosserie of a car was not as good as they are today. Even in the early 80s. So you will have a car that is 5, 6, 7 years old, they will start to get rust. Under it, on the side, especially on next to where the tire is, they will rust away. So they started working on these things. So they came up with different ways to improve them. It was the big expensive cars that did them first, like BMWs, Mercedes. Their carrosserie could last for like 15 years. But after some time, today, you just don't see rusted cars anymore. So you will see a car that will say, this car is 20 years old. It has never been resprayed. All that 20 years, nothing was done. It's not rusting away anymore because they have perfected the way of making it last longer because they understand entropy. Entropy is going to destroy the car, so we have to work against entropy. That's how system works. That is how people make progress. But despite that, we Africans are just still doing things like we were doing before. We don't care. Don't say, how many cement? Put one bag of cement there. That's how we still making things. So it always, yesterday I was talking to a guy. I said, look, you guys know what we call vulcanizer in Nigeria. Okay, crazy word, call it vulcanizer. This is a guy who has a little machine to pump tire and he's on the side of the road. This guy pumped the tire all the time. So I was asking this guy, I said, look, have you ever seen a vulcanizer who has pumped tire and do that for 20 years and now have a shop, a big complex? So you say now this is Agbogun's vulcanizer shop. So when you trace it back, you say, this guy Agbogun, he used to have he started 20 years ago once in the corner of that road as a vulcanizer. 20 years later, he has this now big complex. They are now producing tires. They have grown they do something. No, we don't have that. You hardly see that in Nigeria. Because this guy, he will start a vulcanizer business on the corner of the road, and he will stay on the corner of the road. He will mess that corner of the road up. Sometime government will push him out of that corner, send him to another corner, from that corner to another corner, and after that, the man will die. Then his children, they will swear that, look, we are never going to be a vulcanizer. Absolutely not. We want to be a mechanic. So, the same thing with the mechanic. You see, you say, why is it that the mechanic has to be next to the road? In dirty clothes, outside, under a tree, and that stay for another 20 years. There is no progress. There's no progress. Nobody's moving forward. Nobody's moving forward. So what happened is, they let entropy set into their life, and the life get destroyed, and at the end, the children will say, me, God forbid, I won't be a mechanic. So, that is the life we live. Whereas, you will see a guy, his name is Ford. It was Ford. So, the guy will have one stupid looking car with a bicycle tire. It's a car with a steering that looks like a bucket. Start driving it around. Everybody will be hailing him. So what happened? So the guy invented the car. Said, don't mind him. He's an idiot. This is never going to sell. From there, the guy will create a factory, small factory. From one small factory, will come a big factory. One big factory, it will start producing 1,000 cars, 2,000 cars. It will go to another country and set up. And before you know it, we have Ford Motors all over the world. 50 years later, guess what? Still have Ford Motors, Honda, Kawasaki, Mercedes, BMW, and all these things were started like this. Okay? But so why is our vulcanizer never able to develop into a BMW? So those are the things. Those things bothers me. Why is our mechanic never able to develop to a Honda? So those things bothers me. And I don't always have answer to these questions, but these are the things that keeps me busy every day. Because we have a habit that when we start something, we think this is it. We think this is it. Because right now, we are now in a mobile phone world. This is one. So you have Nigerians, young men, they open this thing and they say they are fixing it. But they're actually not fixing it. What they're doing is that they're replacing parts. So if your glass is bad, they will remove the glass, they'll put a new one. They say they are fixing it. Now, but this guy who is doing this, he doesn't improve. he doesn't improve, and he will never improve. Honest story. 5 years from now, this guy will also try to do this. Still try to do this. But the only thing is that he won't be able to repair it anymore because the white man has created a different type that you cannot even open. The glass don't break, so you cannot change it. And you can fold it and put in your pocket. So there's a lot of, so this guy is going to be out of job. So what happened? Entropy is going to set in and he's going to lose. He's not even going to be doing this anymore. He can't do this anymore. But today, if you tell him that, he will look at you and think you are crazy because he cannot understand that it can happen one day excuse me, let me put up something. He cannot understand that it will happen one day that entropy will set in, that this is no longer a job to fix this thing. So I will go and tell the young man, say, young man, look, this is where I think the future is going. And most of the time I'm right. You need to change your model, your business model. This man will say, yeah, no, what do you talk? Who be you? It cannot happen, God forbid. So, okay. And then it will come, and it will go, and it will happen just like I said. So, that I don't get. So, those type of things bothers me. I remember 10 years ago, I went to Nigeria, I saw people running a cyber cafe. Business was good. Then I said to them, this is what you should do to transform your cyber cafe into a modern business, because a time is coming and it's not far from here. Nobody will be coming to your cyber cafe anymore. They say, why? Oh God, why? I said, yeah, it's very simple. I said, time is coming. Everybody will have data on their phone. Everybody will have people will have broadband. They will be able to access internet on in their home. So why would they come to your cyber cafe? And then all the young boys bust out and start laughing. This man to the talk. That can never happen. It never happen. Say, God forbid. So, and years later, that was exactly what happened. So, I still know this young man. And they said to me now, oh God, you were right. I say, yeah, I'm right. But you allow entropy to set in because you didn't listen. Okay? If you have listened, then you would have succeeded. You would have transformed your business into something else. Say, but why didn't this young man listen to me? Because first of all, when I came to Nigeria, I was a computer guru. They knew that. I was one of the first guys who built all these networks, computer networks, and they also know that in those days, Nigeria was so poor in computing that even the banks couldn't pay me. I was just too expensive for them to even retain me for a month. They couldn't do it. So, and now this same guy is coming to give you advice, telling you based on experience on what I have done in the world, telling you where the world is going to in this technology. And here you are, a guy from Nigeria, an African who doesn't understand this technology, doesn't even understand the business aspect of it. And you are telling me that it not going to happen. God forbid. I said, man, come on. So that I don't understand. That bothers me. Those things bothers me. Because if I teach the same stuff to people in Europe and America. True. I teach the same stuff to people in America, Europe and America. When I'm teaching them, they take a pen and a paper and they take notes. They write it down. They write it down. And they'll go and think about it, what I just said, and they will modify their business. They will change their structure. They will make sure that they don't, that the entropy don't catch up with them. So sometimes I will just be frustrated and say, why is it that I can never get our people to say, man, look, let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. This, because otherwise entropy is going to catch up with us. It's going to catch up with us. It always does. So Why I'm saying this is that people look at the situation in Nigeria today and say, hey, it is the government's fault. It is Buhari's fault. It's this one's fault. Yeah, they're all to blame. Oh, don't get me wrong. They're all to blame. However, the way I look at it is this. I say, okay, look, Buhari is one man, Buhari, okay? And then you have Osinbajo. That is another one. And then you have Dongara. Yeah, that's another one. You have, where's the other one again? Saraki. Okay. And then they all have people under them. So you have like a lot of guys in the House of Representatives. You have a lot of guys in Senate. You have a lot of guys who are ministers. You just have a list of all of them like that. And all these guys, they are highly paid people who are elected to take care of the nation. We're not talking about the state governors yet. We're just on the federal level. So these people, they're supposed not to sleep at all. They're supposed not to be falling asleep at all, in the night even, because of the problem of the country. They're supposed not to be sleeping at all. You're supposed not to even see them eating pepper soup. They're supposed to be focused, razor-sharp focused, dealing with this problem every day to get this nation right. But sometimes I get worried. What worries me is when I see the vice president saying that this issue of petrol matter, that the nation should try to do something about it. The nation has to try to do something about this petrol scarcity issue. The thing just scares me and say, it's like a father telling their children, there's a bailiff. You didn't pay your rent. Couldn't pay your rent for the house, and somebody's coming to throw your properties outside because you know what? You are not paying your rent. And the father is saying to the children, I think somebody should start taking care of this rent. Oh, this is a serious problem. Somebody should start. We should find out how to solve this problem. You see, the children will just start to get scared. That is how it sounds. Or when I hear the Senate president, saying that Nigeria should do something about corruption. The corruption is is really making Nigeria a serious problem. We are not making progress because of corruption. So the thing starts to scare me because I think, wow. Well, when you are a Senate president, you're the number 3 person in the country. You are responsible in making laws. For crying out loud, you need to make the laws. You need to make the laws. Make sure that new corruption bills is passed into existence. Go and talk to the other guy in the House of Representatives. Talk together, drink pepper soup together, maybe drink a beer if you are a beer drinker. Talk about it and say, look, we need to make this law. We need to change the system. I'll say, okay, look. If the Senate president is saying that there is a serious problem and the problem is corruption, and the Senate president is not doing the work to change it, I say, then I start to get worried. So I try to get, so that is the thing. So everybody is allowing entropy to set into the life of people. So because if you have a country where you don't make new laws, you don't make good laws, you don't implement laws that are there, it starts to become a very bad place to live because entropy set in. This country starts to disintegrate. And then you come to the level we are now, that you have a complete disintegration. Nigeria is no longer a country. This is a disintegrated country right now. Somebody said, Nigeria is collapsing. Say, what do you mean Nigeria is collapsing? Nigeria is not collapsing. Nigeria has collapsed. Nigeria is a collapsed nation. So what we're doing is to see, can anybody resurrect Nigeria? And as it is now, it doesn't seem that anybody has a clue. Anybody who has a clue is there to try to resurrect Nigeria. Because Nigeria has collapsed. Nothing works in Nigeria. Nothing works in Nigeria. The same attitude. There is nobody in Nigeria right now. I listen to everybody. I listen to everybody. You know, there's nobody in Nigeria right now in government that is saying the right things. Okay, is even doing the right thing. We have the president, the vice president, the people in the House of Rep, everybody, and you have Senate, and you have governors, you have commissioners, you have ministers, and then you even have party leaders like the chairman of parties like APC chairman, all these people. When I listen to them, I just get worried. When I listen to Audu Ogbe, I just get worried. Then there is this man that really worries me a lot. And his name is Lai Mohammed. When I listen to this man, I don't just get worried. I get disillusioned. I was in my office one day, and because my wife, she followed Nigerian stuff too, because she's married to a Nigerian. In the normal countries, she should be a Nigerian nationality, and she should have Nigerian nationality as well. So she was laughing towards my office from her room, laughing toward my office. I said, well, what's up? She said, because she knows who Lai Mohammed is. No, Audu Ogbe. She said, look at what this minister is saying about agriculture. And what did Audu Ogbe say again? He said, Nigeria has so much rice to export. The problem they're having now is where to get the bags to put the rice. Come on. My wife said to me, you are saying they don't have food to eat. Where this man said they have all the rice there, but they just need bags. And I said, you know what? You call him, let him ask me to import the bags. And I will send Nigeria as many bags as they want. Since that is the problem now. Since they have so much food, that they are looking for bags to put the rice. That is not a problem now. Let him, find out how to reach that minister. Tell him to ask me. I will go and get all the bags from China. Chinese will even fly it in with a Boeing 747. Within a week, they will have all the bags that they need to be put in the rice. Seriously. So, these guys really, not only that it scares me, but when I guess, but I get disillusioned. Because, then I ask myself, should I be upset? No, if you want to be upset, you just be upset all the time. So there's no point. So what we need to do is, you just have to make fun out of it. Because it is weird. Okay? So, sometimes, it's like, they're not saying, and sometimes you look at this saying, you look at these people, you look at this statement, you think, it's not possible. A minister cannot say these things. So you want to look for the video. You want to look for the video to hear these people talk. And then you get the video. And then you hear this person saying them from their own mouth. You think, wow, this is deep, man. This is deep. This is really deep. So, that is the reason why nothing is working. So, the year was running out last year, and I was getting tired. And then I discovered that. And then there was this joke that came out. I thought it was a joke. That some dead people were appointed into boards of directors. So, the first thing I thought was a joke. Some end of year joke. Somebody want to try to be funny. So I didn't say anything about it. I didn't do anything about it. So I waited. And then somebody else wrote about it. And then I saw it in the Punch. I saw it in the Premier Times. I saw it with Sahara Reporter. I thought, man, this is real. And I discovered that there were 9 people who were dead and appointed to boards. After that report, then I just gave up temporarily. I said to my wife, there's no more video this year. Thank God the year is running out. Me, I'll just keep quiet. Because, look, it's like Fela said, what do my mouth see? What do my eyes see? My mouth not be talking. So man just decided to keep quiet. What can I say? How do you employ? Look, honestly, how do you employ 9 dead people? 9 dead people. Hey, what do you want me to say about it? Okay, there was nothing to say. You just had to keep quiet. They say silence is golden. So these 9 people, I know somebody will say, yeah, I got the number wrong. They were 5, or they don't say they are 6. He doesn't care, but let's assume they were even 2. Now I try to imagine, can this happen in another country? Can this happen in a European country or in America? No, it cannot happen. Because first of all, what happened is that after you have, even before you announce it, somebody is going to start calling all these people. At least to make sure that they are still alive. Somebody will call them. It's like when you give somebody a job. So say, okay, we are going to give you a job. That's what we do here. You call the person and say, look, congratulations. We have offered you the position. And then you tell the person what the position is, and the person will be shouting on the other side, hey. Then you would discuss the remuneration. So, okay, we're going to be paying you 3 naira an hour or whatever. So you were expected to start work on, you give him a date and all this stuff. So you say, okay, are you still available? Yeah, I'm available. Yeah, good. Okay, so we'll send you a letter of appointment tomorrow, okay? We'll DHL it to you. I was okay, this guy is still alive. This guy is alive. I spoke to him. So you call the other guy, like my father, he's dead now. So let's say my father was on the list. You call my father, pick up the phone. His phone was still working for some time after he died. It was very weird. So you call the phone. This phone rang. So who picked the phone up? There's a little boy in the house, my nephew, who used to pick the phone up because they tricked this boy, told him that my father traveled to Abuja, that so he has to take care of the phone. So anytime the phone rang, he picked it up, he think it was my father. So he would answer the phone, he would say, yeah. And they would say, okay, I want to speak to Mr. Agbe here. So they say, yeah, but it's in Abuja, because that's what he was trying to say. That's what he believed. So that man would think, that's weird. So we cannot get in contact with this guy. So we write it down. We call this guy tomorrow. Then we go through the list like that until they're able to verify that everybody, 1, is alive. Number 2, they still want the job. Because it's possible the guy say, yeah, but I don't want that job anymore. I have another job. But you see, there are a lot of weird things here. Number 1 weird thing, everybody just believed that all these guys on that list, none of them had another job. Everybody in that list was jobless 2 years ago, and they are still jobless today. Because somebody came up and said, yeah, but why do you bother us? That list was compiled 2 years ago. So what a big deal. People could have dropped dead in 2 years, man. Okay, sorry that I bothered you. But if the list was compiled 2 years ago, don't you find it weird that all these guys, no one has a job 2 years later? So if you assume they don't have a job, how come you think they are qualified? So that's one point. The second point is, if you have a list of workers where 9 people drop dead in 2 years, man, that's a bad list. That's a bad list. Well, why is this a bad list? Because the people are very old. They are old and they don't have medical, they didn't have good medical care when they were alive, so they dropped dead. Now, then, another thing that comes up is, how many people on that list that are under 35 years old? 40. Under 40 years old. Couldn't find one. So that means that in Nigeria, there's nobody under 40 years old who can be a part of the board of director of any company. Okay? So that is one another problem. Then another problem is that means that people, we don't have a dead registry. We don't have a register in Nigeria. You know your citizens, those who are alive and those who are dead. Not even among the elites. So I can imagine, okay, those poor people in Boroko, nobody knows if they are alive, nobody knows who are dead. But for crying out loud, even the elites, who are so elites that they are appointed by the president to boards, and nobody even have a record of them, if they are alive or they are dead. How can you run a country like that? The smallest country, you guys know who they call Napoleon. Napoleon Bonaparte. I've forgotten the time this guy this guy ruled the world. Let me just Google him. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte, Google said it was born August 1769 and died May 1821. 1821, he was emperor of the French from 1804 until 1814. That was when this guy became, he was the emperor of France, and France took over the rest of Europe. He was the guy that made the law that said each family must have a surname. Maybe you guys don't know that. It was Napoleon Bonaparte who made the law that each family must have a surname. So now, when he did that, because he was the emperor then of France, France took over a part of Europe. Then suddenly you have, like, I am Aigbehi, that's my father's name, and then you have, all the children of Aigbehi on that, they bear the same name as Aigbehi, and then their children, and so that's why you have family names. So if you come to, England, from that time on, 18-something, in Europe, all names were registered. Once somebody is born, boom, they must register that person. Once the person died, boom, they will deregister that person. So everybody started having death certificate. And they have never allowed entropy to set in, to destroy that system. The system is established, it's there, and everybody just follow it. So whether you are writing it on paper, before, if you have to get once somebody's born, they have to go to the state house to register that person, and you come there is a government official, he write it in calligraphy, not just doing like this or like Dr. Wright. No, calligraphy, especially trained with a special ink, the one that you, with a feather, you dip it inside ink. That one, you will write and well. The guy will take time to write the name. Okay? That time already. So now they just put it in the computer, but it's still there. So the method of writing and preserving the information has improved dramatically now is computer, but it is still there. Next few years, it will be on the blockchain, but it's still there. It only gets better. They don't allow entropy set in. People don't believe it. My wife and I, we got married in Benin City. True story. So she was saying to me, oh, do you think they still have our marriage certificate there? I say, good luck, you go and look for it. Say, those people they are not even aware that you were ever there. They're not even aware. But when we went to the Western world, we took the certificate, submitted it to the Western government. They register it in their system. The guy who married us in Benin City, if you call him, if you go to the state house here in Europe, you can find the name of that guy, his position, maybe how old he was when he registered that marriage. Okay? Go to Nigeria, You can't find that guy back. You can't find his name. You cannot find where he lived. You cannot even find if he ever existed. Probably somebody is just collecting his pension. So, because in that system, entropy will just set in. They have big books like this of marriage certificate. You open your tier 1, you write them, give them. You open a tier 1, give them. But the duplicate supposed to be preserved somewhere. The ants will come and eat them. The roof will leak, will destroy them. Somebody will come and put fire in the place, burn everything. And that's what we call entropy. Entropy destroys everything. Why? I know that we were not created like that. But why do we behave like that? There's nothing you can preserve, And I was, okay, I tell you the last thing that bothers me. It's not a lot of things bothers me, but I just tell you one because I don't want to take the whole day. The last one today. When I came to Nigeria, okay, got this phone. This phone, I took it to Nigeria. I spent a year in Nigeria. Look at it. A year in Nigeria. Okay. Brought it back, still working, doing fine. Spent a year in Nigeria. I had 2. So somebody said to me, one of my, and said, look, that person worked for me and said, look, I need a phone. My phone is kaput. I need another one. I said, okay, I'll give you one. I kept the other one because it's my reserve phone. And then as we keep going, that phone, anytime I say, where is your phone? They will look at it. Something must be wrong with the phone. And one time she came with the phone, there was a big crack on it. See, why did your phone crack? Why? I get angry. Because this thing cost me $200. Mine is still working. Look at it. Even 1-2 years later, it's still working. How come your own is broken already? And dirty. It was so dirty. Terrible. You say, everything is concrete here now. The thing fell and it broke. I was coming and I sat on it. Why should you sit on your phone? I have the same phone. I don't sit on it. Okay? And this thing is very expensive. Me, I earn dollars, USD, hard currency. That's what I earn. And even it pains me that you broken the phone I gave to you. How come it doesn't pain you? You cannot even afford it because in Nigeria it's like 70,000 naira. You don't have 70,000 naira. You cannot buy another one. So why didn't you protect it like a baby, like an egg? No, the phone cracked. I discovered that most Nigerians, they have cracked phones. So why do Nigerians have cracked phones? Why is it that I can use a phone for 4 years without cracking it? I never crack a phone, ever. My phone never crack, ever. And even when I'm in Nigeria, I spend a whole year with these people, my phone never crack. Never sat on it once. But why does a Nigerian crack his phone or her phone? So those things bothers me. Because these phones are very, very expensive. You guys know, I have, most of you have this device, okay? It's a beautiful device. I love it, This is Android Samsung tablet. Very flat, beautiful. This phone. If I go to Nigeria, I don't allow anybody to touch it. I would tell people if you like they say in Nigeria, if you the chop bottle, go touch them. Because once I allow people to start touching it, it will crack. Why? I have this thing here now for 3 years. Look at it. It doesn't crack. And I know people here, they have the same thing. My wife have them, I have them. it doesn't crack. They don't crack them. But why is it that in Nigeria, if you want to know how badly these things can crack, go to Nigeria. You will see a cracked iPhone, a cracked iPad 3, a cracked iPhone 8, a cracked Samsung Galaxy 8. Everything is cracked up. Entropy. So it seems like the black man cannot escape that entropy. This is always perpetual disorder. And this disorder is not the white man's fault, though. Because sometimes people, my dear brothers and sisters, they get confused. They say, look, it is, they don't know why the problem is like that. It is British that caused it. It is the British people. It's not the British. You know, how can the British be making the phone to crack? It's not the British, man. So, and that bothers me. Because, and then I started thinking and said, look, and I discovered that it is entropy. But why is it that the black man is more, inclined to be dealt with severely by entropy than the white man? It's a fact. You will see here why people will be driving a car from 1950. For crying out loud, those cars are older than I am. $1950. And you won't believe it, we have stuff in this house that we have made before the Second World War. In the Second World War, that was 1945. Started 1939, ended 1945. I have stuff in this house before the Second World War. How did I end up with this stuff? Because my wife inherited them from her mother, and her mother inherited them from her mother. So guess what? I get this stuff. I'm using this spoon. I have a spoon that I eat with. I still eat with that spoon every day. That spoon is older than I am. True story. I can show you the spoon. In my father's house in Nigeria, there is nothing that is older than 35 years. Nothing. They are either destroyed or they are, lost. Somebody just misplaced them, or somebody say just throw them away, don't care, So that is why in Europe you will have people that will make an old thing, like you have an old timer day. Everybody will drive all these old cars out. People will be showing off with it. Tourist attraction. People will come and see this tourist attraction. They love it. When we were in America, in New York, when you go to Washington, you have this Arlington. Arlington is where, if you go there, all people are buried there. All those guys that died in the Vietnam War, they all buried in Arlington. John Kennedy, all these people, they all buried there. You have all these grave, one white block everywhere. And then you go to memorial in New York, in Washington. A lot of places there is full of this memorial. People that died in all the wars, Korea, Vietnam, not First World War. They didn't have that in America. Yeah, the American Civil War, all these things, all war history. You see this beautiful war. I don't know how long that war is. Go and Google it. And the name of everybody that died in Vietnam War, more than 44,000 people, is all written there, engraved there. Haba! All the names of everybody is written there that died in that war. when you go there, if you know somebody by name who died in Vietnam, the name will be there. We don't even know. We don't even know how many people died in the Biafra war. Talk less that we're going to write it somewhere. We don't even have a paper to say Uwanchukwu died in the war. Then Emeka Nkeke died also. Chukwuma died. We don't have it. What type of people are we? So this behavior, this is not a white man that caused this one now. People will just say, it's white man that caused it. It's the white British, it's the Americans, it's the FBI, it's the KGB, it's everybody has to blame with it. No. When I look at it and I think, look, dude, nobody stopped you from writing the name down of people who died in your country. You know, nobody stopped you from doing that. Nobody stopped us from remembering the great people. I saw a picture of from Edo State, from Benin City. They said that when the white people were pursuing Oba Overami, he was running heta-scatter with his people. Then he came to that place, he rested there. So they built a monument for him. Some white people were buried there as well. I don't remember the story. Now, and I saw the commissioner of culture from Edo State trying to get to that place. Carry one big cutlass. Cut wood. Cutter. They go. They march inside the bush. So I just look at these people. I say, look, man, what is wrong with these people? They say they were trying to encourage tourists to come to Edo State. So the commissioner want to go and see that spot where that Oba Overami event took place. Say, haba. So I try to imagine a British tourist coming to Edo State with his cutlass, you know, with a wife and children at the back. Where are you going? He's trying to go to that place where Oba Overami, that event took place. And then the children are following them at the back. The kidnappers are waiting for them somewhere in the bush. I think, is it me or these people don't think? That is not possible now. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. How much does it cost to grade the road to that place? Grade the road to that place. How much does it cost to go and make a little park there so that, and put one man there to be taking care of it, put some grass, put some beautiful hibiscus flower. We get them now, put them there. As one man, they call them horticulturists, making the work there. Plant some palm tree for that road from beginning to the end, both sides, make with the siam. Even me, I will come. Charge me 2,000 naira. I will pay to come in there and look at it. So, what does it cost to do that? So, Commissioner carry cutlass. They cut them, they go. So, and in the end, nothing happened. And entropy, meanwhile, is destroying that whole thing. Entropy is really hammering those things. So, you know, I discovered that when white people came to Nigeria, to Africa, and they look at this thing like this, and you say, how can this is priceless? But how can we just leave this thing here for it to be destroyed? No, we cannot do that. So let's take it home. Maybe we'll carry it and go house. Go take care of them. That was one of the reasons why people took all these things away, because otherwise they would have been gone. You know how I found that out? I was in Nigeria. I go to Nigeria once in a while, and then I took a look. I see the family album. The family album, I took a look about the picture, and as we start going in years, I see that a lot of people were dying. So they're no longer alive, but their pictures are still there. But every time I come, I see that these pictures are getting worse and worse in quality. Oh, rat chopper. You see those rats that were in Buhari's office? In my father's house, there are a lot more there. So they eat some of these pictures, they piss in it, and then if the pictures start to get damaged, rain will fall. So the next time I came to Nigeria, I said, you know what? Let me take this picture away. Let me take them home to Oyibo land and take care of them. Otherwise, all these pictures will be destroyed completely. So that was how I took the pictures. And then I thought, okay, this was how the white people took our stuff. Because they realized that every time we come, they destroy these things. So let's take it away so that we can protect it. So, because if they didn't do that, entropy will destroy everything. And the same thing with the family album. If I didn't take it away, entropy will destroy everything. The same thing with our culture. The same thing with everything we ever built, everything we ever did. The same thing with our medicine. You know, when I was a kid, you know, every Nigerian knows this eczema, and the black people have eczema. I don't know why eczema come. You get eczema for face like this. So we have this plant. Once you go there, take that plant, just cut it, use it to rub the eczema, and give it 3 days. It will burn the eczema, and the eczema will peel off. And within 2 weeks, your black beautiful skin will just come back everywhere. So later in life in Europe, I say, let me get this plant, give it to a pharmacologist here in Europe. Maybe they can find out what component inside that plant. Maybe I can make money with it. So I went to Nigeria. So they're looking for this plant. Nobody even know what it is anymore. So which one did they talk? I say, the red rubber for eczema. Eczema, which kind of eczema? How the plant be like? Hey, I say, voila. Till tomorrow, I still cannot find somebody who can tell me this is the name of that plant. This is where you can find it. It was never propagated. So it's like this, you guys, we have these long tomatoes. It's like, for those who are in Europe, you know this long, what do you call it? Cucumber. You have this long cucumber. The tomatoes was exactly like that, like this long cucumber. When we were kids, they will actually use it to make rice, jollof rice. You cut it, you grind it. It's like tomatoes. You use it to make jollof rice. Actually call it tomatoes. Okay? But today, we cannot find it. People destroyed it. It's gone. Whereas this thing is more juicy than tomatoes. It is. In fact, if it was white people that had this thing, they would have made billions out of it all. So those type of things bothers me. So now, then I was thinking, the last thought I was thinking this morning, and I thought, okay, let me talk with my people, and I was, if it was a white man that had palm wine, if it was a white man that has palm wine, the whole world would have been drinking palm wine today. The whole world would have been drinking palm wine today. Only Africa you will have, God is very angry right now. Because only Africa, he put all these things in by default, and we screw them up. And we don't do anything with it, and we let entropy take it over. If a white man should have owned palm wine, The whole world will be drinking palm wine. Now, it's only palm wine. Look, palm wine is a special thing. There is a tree. Try to explain this to a white person. Just try. See if they will believe you. Tell them that there is a tree in Africa. This tree, you go on to climb it and tap a hole, drill a hole into the trunk of the tree and put a bottle. Put a pipe inside it and put that pipe inside a bottle and leave it there. And the next day when you come, it's full. And what is it filled up? It's filled up wine, alcohol. Pure alcohol that you can drink, sweet, delicious alcohol. Try to explain it to a white person. They will say this black man is telling stories. This black person is lying. It's 419. They will start making joke of you because it's not possible. That's what they said. But you and I know that this thing is a real fact, that we have a tree in Nigeria, in West Africa, that you drill a hole inside, you will fill a bucket up the next morning. Okay. Now, what do we drink in Nigeria? We drink a cough medicine. Cough medicine. People don't know that. Guinness is a cough medicine. So these dudes in Dublin who made this cough medicine, and because nobody wanted to buy it from him because it was too bitter. So this guy decided, let me just add some alcohol to it. So let it a little bit palatable. And Irish people, they love a little bit of alcohol. So this thing started to sell very well. So they just improve it. And believe me, Nigerians love this stuff. People who drink Guinness, they are English people, Irish, English people, and guess who are the other ones? Nigerians. They drink Guinness. Guess where Guinness came from? It's a cough medicine. The same with Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was a cough medicine. Both are black. Cough medicines are always black. Anyway. But meanwhile, we have our palm wine. It's there. We allow entropy to set in and we destroy it. So many times I have this dream and say, look, I would love to take palm wine throughout the whole world. So that if you are in a bar in New York City, you will say, man, I want to have a pint of palm wine. Let me have a bottle of palm wine. So our people, if you're from Russia, you have vodka. Vodka. People in, I love this vodka from, what do they call this country? Not Ukraine, the other one. Poland. They are very good in vodka. English people, they drink Guinness. Belgium, lager beer. Germany, they love beer. If you want to drink beer, you go to Germany, you can drink liter at a time. In French people, wine, they drink wine. And they have a lot of champagne come from France. Irish people and the Scottish, they drink whiskey. Irish have the Irish whiskey, and the Scottish people have the Scotch. That's why it was Scottish whiskey. So everybody get it. In Japan, they have the shaki, they call it, or whatever, sake they call it from Japan. So everybody has its own thing. And all this thing, they bring it to the world, they export it, they sell them, make money. We have palm wine. And we allow entropy to set in. We destroy it. If any white man that have tasted palm wine, they go, wow, what is this? How do you make this wine? We don't make this wine. God made this wine, man. We just tap it from a tree. We don't make it. We don't distill it. We just tap it. So instead of we tapping these things, instead of we growing this palm tree, tapping them, growing and tapping, no. You know what our young people are doing? Our young people now they now develop this habit. Our young people and the allies, they say that they are drinking champagne. So they carry a bottle of champagne, they go and spray with it. They open it, they do this. They have money, they waste it. They say they are spraying, they are, wetting the ground. There's a black man again, his mentality. He's spraying this wine everywhere, destroying the wine. It's a sad story. It's a sad story. It's a sad story. Because the wine he has is medicinal. That's the wine from God. We don't put anything inside. We don't add sugar. We don't add chemical. We don't have anything. It's purely medicinal. It cures diseases. Once it ferments, if you drink palm wine, you have constipation. It will clear your constipation. It doesn't pollute your liver like distilled drinks. So we have all this Red Bull energy drink coming now. We have some heavy stuff from China coming in, killing people, of all these things. And the black man just keeps deteriorating into the abyss. And he doesn't have a problem with it. He doesn't know that he's moving fast. He's just deteriorating so fast into abyss, but he seems not to care. So guys, you see, those are the things that bothers me. So I thought today, I can just sit down and whine over these things, and because I've been thinking about them. I think about this stuff all the time, and I keep thinking about it. I can spend days, weeks thinking about them, trying to find out why are we like this? What can we do about it? And sometimes you just get stuck. No solution inside, because the mind of the black man is spaghetti. Not the one that is not cooked yet, though. The one that is cooked and is turned upside down. It's mixed together. It's tangled. And he doesn't accept it, that it's tangled. So, and there's a saying in psychology that what you don't accept, you cannot solve. Problem you don't accept that you have, you cannot solve it. So that's the reason why we are like this. Those are the reasons why we are like this. So if we want to make a list now, we will be writing these things down. We'll get to 3,000. We'll still be going. Our problems. Why we are like this. I've actually made a very long list, though. It's a very sad situation. It's a very sad situation. So we cannot expect to live this life and expect that we become successful in any way. It's not possible. Today, the technology in the Western world is scary. I am a technologist, but even when I see things now, I start to get scared. Think, whoa, Africa, is getting, I don't know. So, guys, that's it for me, So, there's the introduction of the new year. These are things that bothers me. I hope I'm able to express them to you. Maybe they bothers you too. You don't put it in words like I did. It should bother every normal person. So thank you very much for listening. We'll keep going. We'll see what we can make out of this year and keep fighting together to make it a better world. Thank you very much for listening and take care of yourself. Bye.